Hi, everybody, or I should say, happy Tuesday night. This is my favorite part of Tuesdays. And the reason being is I get to join in and have some fun with you, the audience, here on Facebook on this podcast. And we bring in a lot of our friends, I do admit that. And we talk a lot about bowling, which we absolutely love. But as you could tell last week when we had Hank Boomershine on, we did have some college stories. We kept it clean. It was wonderful. So again, thank you for joining us for episode 23 of Kicking Back with Ballard's Bowling Academy. When we started this, we said, you know what? We want to do something through our pro shop, make sure that we have all of our sponsors out there during the pandemic. And this has turned into, I guess, I keep calling it my mini talk show. So you never know what direction we're going to go. It could go anywhere. And tonight's one of those nights. So remember, I can't tell you about our guest yet because I got to give you my words too. So before we start, I want to make sure everybody is staying safe and sound out there. We are thinking of everyone. I am going to give a quick shout out to our friend Paul Henderson, who lost his mom this week. We are thinking of him, love their family. And this Saturday and Sunday will be the first. Ballard's Bowling Academy presents The Experience, Youth, Bowling, and Passion. And that will be at City View Lanes. You can visit Ballard's Bowling Academy Facebook page for an entry. And we're going to have a couple of special guests. Diana Z will be there, Storm staffer, Turbo staffer. Going to be there to answer some of your questions, watch you bowl, talk about all the new Storm equipment. And I am very happy that this person is going to be here with us this week, Kayla Bandy of Bandy Lane. And she is going to have a lot of information for not only the kids, but for the parents, teaching you about how to get through that very nerve-wracking college experience. I'm already starting it. Alyssa is halfway through her 11th grade, and I am already nervous about filling out applications and knowing where to go and how to do a resume. Kayla Bandy will be on hand all weekend to answer any questions that any of the parents or the students have about the college experience. So I'm very excited because, you know, at some of these events, we always take care of the kids. The kids have fun, they're bowling, but we forget that there are parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles that come with them and spend a lot of money to bring them to these events. So we want to make sure that we can supply them with something at this experience and they walk away knowing that there's somewhere they can go to get their questions answered. Before we move on, I would like to also bring up Bowl for Life, Chuck and Debbie Gardner, November 1st, another scholarship opportunity. So please make sure to check out their website. So now we are moving on. Short announcements today. Short because I want to get right to it because I know this person is just, boy, he is gearing up and ready to go and answer all of your questions that you're going to send. I don't know what direction this is going to go again, but let me start by saying, as I always do, words that I think best describe our guest. I can't tell you who said them, but let's listen to some of these words. Hardworking, old-fashioned, thinker, loyal, dad, funny, friend, dry. And this is, I'm going to say this one that I was going to take back, and I'm going to see if our guest can think of who said this one. The first, it's two words really. It was man-child, or it was really man inside a child's body. So we're going to see if he can guess who actually said that. But I would like to welcome, and he's laughing, the vice president of business development for Storm Products, Gary Hulsenberg, my friend. How are you, Gary?
Hi, hey everyone. It's good to be on the show. Appreciate. I'm trying to go through the list of words right there, and
Mhm.
I've got no clue what's happening.
I want you to just take a quick guess, if you had to. Who would have said man child? And then right after they said it to me, they said, no, no, no. I mean, he's a man inside a child's body sometimes. Who would you think would say that?
Uh, I'm gonna go with Chris Schlemmer. I don't really know. I'm going Chris Schlemmer. I
Well,
don't
that's a
know.
good guess. That's a good guess, but probably one of your biggest fans. That was little Alyssa Ballard. That's
Okay.
because you are
She's my favorite Ballard.
she is your favorite Ballard, and that's exactly where I was going with that.
Yeah, she's my favorite Ballard.
That is fantastic, and she meant that in the funniest of ways because I know
Oh yeah,
we have a joke going on about that. So,
good.
Gary, I'm so glad to have you on. Oh wait, and she's going to come say hello really quickly here.
This is great.
Say
Yeah,
hello to
what's
Gary.
up?
Gary just announced you as his favorite Ballard.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she knows.
100%. Hey, I don't know if you caught this. Is Alyssa? Don't leave yet, Alyssa.
Don't leave yet.
On the Morning Bolt on Monday,
Okay.
I was talking politics at the beginning of the show and staying true to form. I am writing in Amani Moore on my ticket this year for president. And I said it on the
he's
Morning
writing
Bolt.
in.
It's in video that
He's
I have gone on record, and I'm not picking any of the folks running. I'm writing in
he is
Amani
writing
Moore for
Amani
president.
Moore in for president.
Okay.
Yeah, let her know it's happening. I've got my ballot right next to me, and I'm going to do that before I fly out to Texas tomorrow. So anyway, Alyssa, good to see you.
I am definitely. He said, "Good to see you. You're the best." Okay, Gary, that was great. I love it. Little Amani Moore, we love her. Another one getting ready to go to college at the end of this year. So going to be so sad when I see some of these SYC bowlers leave. But we have to wait. We're not getting to that yet. We're not getting to that yet. The
Yeah.
first thing I want to start with is you are becoming known for certain things, and the SYC is one of them, you and your wife, Leanne. But
Yeah.
I remember meeting you back, and I wrote down, I thought at first it was 99, but I think it was 97.
Okay.
We were both working for another company, and we were at a
Yeah.
trade show, I believe, in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And we had a great time, as a matter of fact. Yeah. But tell everybody a little bit of, where does Gary Hulsenberg come from, and how did you wind up in bowling?
Oh, wow. So were we working for Ebonite at the time?
Yeah. Yes, we were.
Yeah. And I will tell you this, that those days back then, Ebonite, such a fantastic company. No slight on the new modern day Ebonite, but right. The group of people, Judy Garrity and Brian Purcell, Brian Purcell to this day is a guy that if I could just kind of hang out and just have a meal with. I love BP. He was so great to me, as were all of the great old EBI folks. I just really enjoyed him, and I was really fortunate and happy and blessed to be a part of that team for a while. And I've always, to answer the question, I guess in general, was I've always just loved bowling. So I started bowling when I was 8 years old, and my dream would have been to be a really good touring player type Hall of Famer like you guys are, you and your husband Dell and my wife Leanne. But I was terrible, and so I pursued that because I totally believe that you go around one time, and at the end of this, you don't want to look back and regret something. So even though I was I was an okay regional player, but not great, I did bowl a little on tour because that was what I was passionate about. But there was no chance I'm ever beating a Del Ballard Jr. or any of the, things. And I can remember one time it was in Tommy Jones when he was really young, Tommy Jones kind of guy. I looked at him one time when we were bowling at a tournament somewhere, and I said, on my best day, like my best day, I could not beat you on your worst day. Like, that's how good this guy, Tommy Jones, is. And so anyway, I was very real about it. But you have dreams, you got to follow them, and whatever they may be. And so, I was kind of always worked in the bowling industry for the most part. I did have a stint in banking, Wells Fargo Bank, and I had a nice little thing with that. And but bowling's where my heart's at, so that's where I'm at.
And it's great that you bring that up, because no matter who we speak to, whether it's a professional bowler who's up and coming or has won 15 titles, or someone like you in the industry, or a Hank that designs bowling balls and does sales, everybody says the same thing. They love bowling. Nobody ever says we're in this to be rich. We're going to be multimillionaires. I mean, if you're an up and coming bowler, of course, there's that time where you go, I hope I am a Hall of Famer or I win titles.
Yeah.
But every single person, no matter what part of the industry they are in, says the same thing. I just love bowling. Like, how can you not love bowling?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what I think one of the best things about the sport is. And yes, we love, I know you're a tennis buff. I'm a tennis buff, but of course I'm not on the pro circuit. Yeah. I don't know if it's the same way in every sport, that it's so community oriented and so personalized. So I think bowling is very special because of that.
Yeah, it's the game. I look at your house right now as the perfect example of why bowling's great, or my house. And the greatest thing is our sport doesn't discriminate against anyone. So at some level you can play. So right now, in your house, you guys could all go play. In my house, you'd have me that I'm okay, and then you have my Hall of Fame wife, and then you have my son who's into football but can throw the ball. And if my mom was here, who's had a stroke, she could go and bowl. Like, everyone can do this, and I think that is a beautiful thing, and you can do it together. Now, during COVID, where it's social distancing and all that, it's a bit trickier, but it can still be done. Go out and support your local bowling centers. They need the business, and they've done great things to make sure you have a safe visit when you get there.
Oh,
unless
absolutely.
You're in California. Yeah, unless you're in California, which is just closed.
Yes, no, but you're absolutely correct. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But yes, please, that is a shameless plug that I don't feel one bit bad about. Please, if you can, go out and support the bowling centers, because it's family oriented, and they have done a great job, especially in this area. We're very fortunate to allow you to be able to get out there and experience the sport of bowling. So as we are saying this, because we're going to talk about one of the best events that is held 6 or 7 times a year. So you're going to tell us that exactly. You and Leanne. Yeah. Leanne has always been excellent with the youth. She had a great youth program out with Mike Hillman in California when she was out on tour. You both came up with the concept, or maybe one of you did, I don't know, because I've never heard the whole story, about the Storm Youth Championships that now we absolutely all look forward to, no matter what month of the year it is. Tell us a little bit about how that actually came about. Okay, I want to know the story behind that. And what was your ultimate goal when you were putting this together?
So we wanted to expand on the community part of our sport, which is, and you said at the beginning of the show before you brought me on, you were talking about at your event that's coming up. Is it this weekend?
This weekend.
Yeah. And so you had said there's a focus on the moms and dads as well as the athletes. And that's something I think we really care about at the SYC. We really try to make Friday night is a social gathering under normal non-COVID times. And it's a very, it's all about family, all the clinics, the moms and dads, brothers, sisters, coaches, whoever's in the building is invited to attend our clinics that are free on Friday, given out, that are done by people like yourself, our pro staff. In Las Vegas this year alone, I counted on Friday night that there were 5 Hall of Famers bowling and interacting with the kids and the families.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, man, this is like, I don't even know if people realize how cool this is. You got like the best players in the world of all time are all just like right in this building and hanging out. Dell bowled and you bowl. I mean, they were all bowling with the kids and then interacting with the parents. So to answer your question, who came up with it? I'm glad you asked. It's never one person. It was always a group of people. And I picked the phone up and I called some of the people, you being one of them, and Ken Keegan being one of them. And I talked to Mr. Chrisman, Bill Chrisman, our founder of Storm. And I talked to our president, Dave Sims. And I said, I think we should do this youth tournament thing. And I think it has to always be about them. And it's never about us. And I think that's what's special about it is that there's nothing in it for our company or for the individuals that are volunteering. I say this all the time. Our pro staff volunteers to be at the Storm Youth Championship tournaments. And so that means they're giving up their weekend to hang out with the youth athletes and their moms and dads and siblings and coaches and all that. And I think there's something really beautiful about that. Like it's like the truest form of giving back. And Carolyn, can I just go on one more time?
And
one more time. Every event, we raise money for your charity that you guys founded, Ballard versus the Big C. And I'm so thankful and proud of the families. Every time they enter a tournament, a portion, $10 of every entry goes straight to you guys for your charity. And then at the events, we raise additional funds and awareness, because it's not, look, if you if you can't donate, that's cool. Like, we get it. Like, we're not asking for money all the time, but could you help us by just sharing Ballard versus the Big C out to other people and get the word out so that we can, and the whole goal is to help other humans. And so we do this through the Storm Youth Championships. And I thank our co-founders, Barb and Bill Chrisman, for just allowing us to do these type of events, which really, they actually cost our company money to do them. They're not free to do. There's nothing in it for them financially, but they say, this is good stuff. Let's do it. It brings bowling closer together. It raises money for a great charity. And along the way, we get to meet other bowling families and connect deeper. So that's my story.
I got a little, not teary eyed, but you get a little misty when we do talk about it, because, which is going to lead me to the next thing. And I was going to call you this earlier in the show, Gar, because, and how do you say my name?
Carolyn.
Very good. Carolyn. When we did talk about this and you asked for a charity and we did decide on Ballard versus the Big C, you resonated some words, and this was our hope. Was we wanted to raise awareness, we wanted to give people hope, and we wanted people to always know there was a place to go. So, and I always say this, it's unfortunate that I have actually spoken to a lot of people, because that means that cancer is still here. So it's unfortunate that I get to talk to these people, yet it's fortunate because they have somewhere to go, and we can then reach out to get them going in the right direction. So again, it's a partnership. It was something that was founded out of something bad, came something good. And again, like anything, when we're even talking about bowling, it's about awareness. We just want people to know why we love it. Why are we a community? And giving back through the organization of Ballard versus the Big C and through SYC, you can't have anything bad come of that. And that's the way I look at it. So anybody that complains, which there are no complaints at SYC, by the way, I'd love to say that, because that is true. It's just one of those weekends where you are coming together for the greater good, and everybody in the family is involved. So hats off to Storm. As we always say, Bill and Barb, fantastic representatives of the industry, and just, they always give back. But your team in Utah, I love when you use the word team, because really that's what it's all about. Which leads me on to, and this is kind of, I don't really know where we're going to go with this.
You should have sent me these questions in advance so I could prepare.
Nope. I never do that. But I'm not sure where this is going to go because it's something, though. One thing, as you know, with Carolyn, what you see is what you get. And sometimes I put my foot in my mouth and sometimes I don't. And, we all do stupid things or, we say sorry, regret that. And we try to make good on it.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, Gar and Carolyn have a lot of off-the-wall conversations. And some of the conversations have to do with these things about human nature, having high expectations, doing the right thing, giving back. And I don't know where I really want to go with this, but, we often talk, Gary, on our own about expectations. And I think people, no matter what you do in life, whether you're a professional athlete, you have expectations. And there's something that comes with that. I hear a lot of times when you hear about the greater bowlers, oh, they had an ego. Oh, they had a big head, or, oh, they thought a lot of themselves. Well, some of those qualities are needed to get to a certain point, and they're put in perspective. And I kind of want you to touch a little bit because you and I have some really great conversations about expectations and what that means just to be a human being. And you always get a little philosophical, and I love it because there's always something that I grab from every conversation going, oh my God, that's it. So what do you think about that, about just being a good human being, expectations and doing the right thing? How do you put that in perspective in maybe your everyday life?
You asked me a question about like, how do we come up, and you specifically said you, or maybe it was you and Leanne. And I immediately turned it into, it wasn't us. It was us collectively. It was a group of people that launched the SYC. So it was a true effort by people whose hearts are in the right place and back up what they say, right? So the people that are on our committee, they don't want anything in it. And they don't want any acknowledgement for anything. And they just want to do what's right by the youth athletes in our sport and give them new opportunities and help them grow and along that with their parents and all that. So I think that totally applies to just everyone, right?
I love it.
We're not perfect human beings. And if we think we're perfect, then we're probably delusional because we're not, and we all make mistakes. But owning up to a mistake and just saying, you know what? I totally missed that. Is so refreshing. It's so refreshing to hear it in today's environment because I don't know if society just has put this out there that we have to be perfect. But by the way, we're just not. And we're going to just trip up and make mistakes. So it's much better to go, hey, look, this one teammate's really good at this over here, and they're not so good at that over there, right? And so let's build them up where they're really good at and let them excel. And then someone else who's good at this other part can really shine there. But I don't know, expectations every day. I tell that I wake up and I'm so optimistic and motivated and everything. And then by about 8:15 in the morning, I've had a conversation and I'm like, does this person really think this way? Like, do they really think this?
Well, you say 8 a.m. or you send me a text and we start our little giggle of the day. But it's funny. You resonate with some of the words in the fact of when you do have expectations, whether it's in your personal life or with your job, the ultimate goal is always to, I would assume, or we hope, it is to do the right thing. You're doing the right thing for a reason, because you know why? One of the greatest things you said tonight, and by the way, I take notes while I am on here. So when I look down, don't think I'm ignoring you, but you said to produce new opportunities. And a lot of times I think in bowling, we get we get stuck just a little bit in that, oh, so-and-so will contribute to that, or so-and-so will give to that, or, well, they always do it. And I think one of the greatest things I've seen with the SYC is those new opportunities. It has taught other people. It's taught Dell and myself. How do you put a good event together? How do you include everyone? I have the pleasure of working on the Turbo Collegiate Expo every year, where we bring everybody together, and we bring college coaches in, allowing for new opportunities for not only the youth to become smarter than we were, but to also help their parents, take some of the burden off of them that, hey, you're not alone. We all have kids out here going to college. We know how confusing it can be. So I love that you said that. Teamwork, and we're there to provide new opportunities. Alyssa and I were just talking the other day, and I know you believe this. She made a comment about something, and I said, I just want you to have so much more than I had, and not in the way of things of cars or money or
sure.
I just want you to be able to take advantage of so many more things than I did, because I may not have had as much leadership. Times were different. So you kind of learned while you're the street smarts, you like to say. Yeah. So I think in today's day and age, mentoring and having things like this, it really is something that I think the kids need. And again, I think makes bowling so special.
Yeah, I agree. And I think if anyone's ever been watching, been to an SYC, I hope that they went away going, man, those people, Leanne and I have this thing where, and this is interesting. It's easy for me because no one really knows who I am, but it's different for you and Dell and Leanne, who as soon as you walk into any bowling center, you guys are the legends of the game, and you're very recognizable, right? So there's an expectation that they have on you guys. And when I watch our team collectively, how they go about giving themselves to the youth athletes and the parents and all that, I think, man, if we could just film this and make it into like some sort of a documentary, we could share it with just about every other sport or every other entity in our world, and maybe the world might be a little bit better place. Because I would say on SYC weekends, I look around and I think, man, the kids are all having fun. Usually there's 30 to 35 states represented. They're meeting kids from all over the place. They all tell me that they stay connected now, and they have friends all over our country. And it's a small enough event where people really, really connect.
Yes.
I mean, we had Belmo and Jesper at our event in California at Roner Park, and Curtis Woods and the Deckers put this great event on. And I was sitting there going, I don't know any other sport where you could be like, Belmo's like Tom Brady or something, right? Like, and the kids were like putting their arm around them and taking pictures, and they could ask him any question because it's a small enough, intimate enough group or setting that allows for this really organic connection.
Yes.
And that, again, that's another thing about our sport of bowling that's unbelievable. Our athletes are always giving themselves so openly to everyone. So it's really cool.
Well, you've done a good job when nobody wants to leave for the weekend, and it takes you, another hour to 2 hours to get out the door. And I'm not even talking about when we're packing up. I'm talking about literally you're talking to everybody as you're walking out the door.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna throw anybody under the bus, but the funny of the kids keeping in touch. One of the jokes this past weekend, it would be almost 3 days ago on Saturday, Stephanie Alexander and I were chit-chatting, and we know that there was a late night chat, we think, during the week with, I think the states represented were California, New Jersey, Texas, let's see, Florida. I think there was about 8 people on the chat, and but you know what? It was harmless. They all admitted to it when we confronted them about it. Nobody had tests the next day, so that was okay. But you are correct. They all keep in touch. And again, it's a great event and a great way for all of us to keep seeing each other during this crazy world.
Stay connected, right?
So
good.
We have this great event. We know it's going to grow moving into 2021. What do you yourself have on the horizon, whether it be from Storm or is it a branch off of the SYC? What's on the horizon moving forward to 2021?
Well, we have a big announcement coming up in the next week as it pertains to youth athletes, and I don't think anyone knows really about it, but you're going to see it if you follow us at Storm, and that'll come in the next. I will go on record on your show and say by next week Friday, so that's like 10 days from now, there will be this large announcement as it pertains to youth bowling.
Very exciting.
That's pretty exciting. And then something else that's really exciting to me personally is that Leanne, who really to me is the complete backbone of the SYC, right? So it's Leanne Barrett Hulsenberg, the Hall of Famer, and her mission and what she feels great about is totally giving back to youth bowling. And Storm believes greatly in that. So her role as our tournament and events manager at Storm is going to be increased as it pertains to youth development and projects like the SYC. And it's her favorite thing to work on. And it's so much fun because I don't know, when you ever know, does anyone out there know, like when you just do something because it's the right thing to do, how good it feels? Like it's all like, so for Leanne working on these SYCs and building the schedules and making sure that everything is right, all that stuff is just really, it's pure. It comes from a place. And so it's a joyful process, I guess, is kind of what I'm saying. And she just does such a good job with it. And then you put in a little bit of my OCD when it comes to time, because I don't do late. And I tell all the families that come, look, if we're going to start something and it's 9 a.m., it is 9 a.m. and I'm watching on my phone, like the seconds tick down, and that's when we're starting. And knock on wood, I don't think we've ever, to my knowledge, had any or clinic or anything start when it wasn't supposed to. It starts on time. And the reason it's such a big deal to me is people's time is important. And if they're giving that time as a family where they're going to be in your event, so to speak, we want them to know, hey, show up at this time and it'll be over at this time. And now you can go out and have dinner with all your friends. And you know that, like there's structure to, and it's trying to be responsible to the families in attendance. And so Leanne does fantastic with all that. And I'm super pumped that she gets to lead our SYC team.
Oh, it's fantastic. I think, well, tell us a little bit, I believe, is it, oh gosh, I could look at my phone, either tomorrow or Thursday. I think I'm on her new, is it Storm Junior Live, correct?
Yeah, it's Storm Junior Live. And so this is a new show that Leanne wanted to do that's 100% focused on youth. And there will be youth athletes that come on board and do, they'll be the guest of the show.
Yes.
Tomorrow, last week was the kickoff week. And so it was really, Blair was kind of introducing Leanne and the concept of the show. And now this is the first week where Leanne is hosting on her own. And you're the featured guest because of everything you do for the sport of bowling. And it's really cool that, you get these two icons.
Yeah, but let's clarify that. She did ask me to come on, but she backed it right up immediately with, hey, and Alyssa needs to be on the show too. So
great. Perfect. I love that.
So I'd love to say that I think she was really thinking of me, but I really think she was thinking more of Alyssa, and I'm just going to make a little bit of an appearance.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good. Yeah, that'll be fun. Tune in and watch it on Storm Junior Facebook.
It is. And you said the same thing, the feel good thing and doing the right thing. But you know what? when you're passionate about something, it should resonate through you. It should resonate in what you're doing and the events that you put across, or the things that you write, or the guests you have on. It doesn't matter. Everything you're passionate about obviously will come across with that passion through it. And you can see that with Leanne. She's always been passionate about the youth. And like I said, Cloverleaf, we're going to miss that bowling center. But I do remember, the youth programs. And again, she comes from a great youth-oriented junior bowling program, as well as I did, as well as Dell did. So I think that's part of what keeps you inspired about what you do. And at the end of the day, even when you have a bad day, you say to yourself, you know what though? Oh my God, in 2 weeks, we're going to Myrtle Beach. Or in 2 weeks, we're going to SYC, or we're going out to Utah for a couple of meetings to see friends and build bowling. So again, there's that passion and that resonation of just making things better.
Yeah. Can I add something right here?
Sure.
Is this a good time to segue into something?
You can segue right into it, Gary. We're 37 minutes in, and I really didn't think I'd have anything to talk to you about. No, go right ahead. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
This is totally on point with what you just said, because we had Francois Lavoie on our show on the Morning Bowl. And I asked Frankie, congratulated him. He was our guest because he bowled 300 on TV. If you didn't watch it, go check it out. It's awesome. Yep. And he awesome. Just packed every shot in the 10th. Frank the Tank got it done. 300 on TV for the second time. The guy's incredible. And he's so nice. He's such a nice person. He was at our Wichita tournament, the Wichita SYC. Mm-hmm. So I asked him on the show, I go, hey, what did you like most about the SYC? Right? And what he said was exactly what you just said. He said, I watch kids genuinely enjoy themselves for the entire weekend. And yes, someone won and was crowned the champion, but he never saw anyone get upset. He goes, I'm sure it happened. I just didn't see anyone get upset during the whole weekend. And so that was his takeaway from it. The one thing he took away was how great a sports these kids were, and they're competing, but they're making friendships. And look, it's a great, beautiful thing. And by the way, we raised money for Ballard versus the Big C. So
we do. I'm looking on here. Here we go. Leanne's commenting. Yeah. And she says 4 p.m. Texas time, 3 p.m. Utah time, obviously. Yeah. So, and I have to look, is that tomorrow? That's Wednesday, correct?
Yes.
Tomorrow. Yeah. So tomorrow you can check us out on Storm Junior Live. Again, 4 p.m. Texas time. I will be with the great Leanne Hulsenberg, PWBA and USBC Hall of Famer, as well as my daughter, Alyssa Ballard, and Dell's daughter, Alyssa Ballard. Cool. I think one of Leanne's favorites because, of course, Alyssa loves Leanne. So that should be a lot of fun. We have a lot to talk about. It's going to be great. And it's nice to give the kids another avenue to, help them build their confidence so that they can be the best they can be on and off the lanes. So hats off. Love it. Okay. So Gary.
Yes.
We are in bowling, but I have to ask you, are you team Dell Ballard, DDB, or Alyssa Ballard?
I'm original. I'm original team Dell Ballard. I am team Dell Ballard. However,
I'm sick of that already. Everybody picks the same team.
I'm team Dell Ballard. However, I'm on team Alyssa as well. CDB, you're a distant third. I'm sorry. I love Dell and Alyssa, and you're great, but you're not Dell or Alyssa. So sorry.
I take no offense to it. I have actually had a lot of time to train to understand how you fall down the let's just say the ladder of life. when you have children and when you have a husband that's as well known and let's see, what can a character. He is loved. He is loved. A lot of people like him. It's funny. Before I ask you the next question, one of the things that I've really learned in any sport, and especially with bowling, going back to even what you said about Frankie, a lot of times what you see on the lanes and what you see on TV it's really not all what that person is.
Yeah.
And I tend to, Leanne and I talk about this a lot. I tend to feel like, I had, I was fired up and I wanted to win all the time and it was all about me and I got it. But really off the lanes, I just wanted to be with my friends and I wanted to hang out with everybody. I didn't really care if I bowled with you that night on TV. I just kind of, wanted to hang out with you afterwards. So it's important that people do understand that what you always see is not actually what that person is also off the lanes. There's a mixture of, again, we talked about it earlier, to get to that level and to be a champion, there are some qualities and we're going to have
to be wound a bit differently.
Yeah, you do have to be wound a bit different, but I think that's a great night to have. What makes a great bowler? What makes you? What helps you get to the top? And that's a whole other discussion. But I loved that Frankie said that, and that's some great words coming from a great champion. Okay, if you weren't in bowling, what would Gary Hulsenberg be doing?
I would own an ad agency for sure.
Oh,
I love when I was a kid, I was fascinated by TV commercials and advertisements in newspapers or magazines, and I'd really try to study them and understand like what are they really trying to convey. And so for me, and I'm really lucky, like a lot of my job at Storm is communications, right? Mm-hmm. And so I get to work with Blair, who if you don't know Blair, she's really brilliant. She's just a very smart, she's super smart and she's super talented. And she has a way of kind of like understanding how to put a program together that puts look, we're a consumer company. Yeah. We build things, but we don't sell anything. We're in it the same way all of the Storm fans are in it, right?
Right.
We make great product because we all bowl and we want great product to use. And we want our players to win and they have great product. And then we want league bowlers to have their best experience and bowl 300s and bowl their high games or whatever. And all that stuff will lead to selling product and being successful as a business. But any of our communication for anyone that follows us, it's never about selling you anything because we're just talking about bowling, and that's what we're all about. And at Storm, you'll just see that. And Blair just is really great at it. And we try to tell a story, and that's what I was saying. That's why I think owning an ad agency would be kind of like the thing I would. If I wasn't in bowling, that would be kind of what I did.
I like that because again, it's about being a part of something. Storm, they grab you in. And that's how I feel, my main job obviously is working for Turbo. And I feel family-owned businesses operate differently. They want you to be a part of what they are. Be a part of the family. You're not just a worker. You're part of our family. So that's fantastic. Now, about the commercials. Dell yells at me because I love commercials.
Yeah, so do I.
Watch them. I love them. And they'll fast forward. And I'd say, wait, I want to watch that commercial. And he's like, why? This is boring. And I'm like, no, there's a message. There's a message. So see, Gary, now I know why we get along. Because there are some things we really think on the same line, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I love it. So that's another conversation we're going to have. But I have kept you here. I can't believe it. It's 40. We're 45 minutes in.
Yeah.
And I cannot tell you. I mean, there's so much more I want to talk to you about. So we're going to have you back. We really are. We're going to have to talk about one subject, actually. Gary, I can't thank you enough So there's a few reasons. Thanks for spending your Tuesday night with us, number one.
Our pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you for being a good friend. I'm not, because on these darn podcasts every now and then I get teary-eyed. I talk about certain things. You've been a good friend. You've seen us through some things that go on with Dell every now and then. Just life throws you a little bit of a curveball. Yeah. I want to thank you and your family, the Storm family, as well. And just you are a great guy, and you're good for bowling, and you're good for people. You feed their soul. So don't ever forget that. And I look forward to our next visit. I really do. Thank you so much for everything. I don't know if Dell wants to pop in and wave. I think he's just going to wave from behind. But we did show a nice picture of you and him together. So
nice.
Tell everybody out there we said hello. We send our love, and can't wait till we visit.
All right. Well, you guys stay safe and stay healthy.
Healthy. Yeah, healthy. It's a good word, healthy. I love it. But thanks, Gary. See you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye. So again, I'm going to have to stop doing these every now and then because I get teary-eyed, and we talk about so many things that I just want to go on for 2 hours just talking about how great bowling is and what we can all do as a part of it to make it better and mentor and help others just be the best they can be. But again, SYC, Storm Youth Championships, please check out stormbowling.com. They have all the information on there. They have Orlando as their last event coming up here in a couple of weeks. Ballard versus the Big C. Gary mentioned it. I want to thank everybody who hops on board with helping us promote something that's very close to our heart, that we live every day, or I should say really Dell lives every day. Thank you to all of our sponsors, Storm, Rotogrip, Dexter, Logo Infusion, Turbo. We could not do any of this without any of you and the bowling community. And I say that from down deep inside. There's more I'd probably want to go on about that, but we'll leave that for another night when actually Dell can talk. And I think that would be one of our best podcasts, is to really, really dive deep into just how the bowling community comes together for a great cause so we can make it better for others who can't fight for themselves. And that's what we do. So thank you again for joining us tonight. Please make sure to check out Ballard's Bowling Academy Facebook page where we have our youth event up there. Check Alyssa and I out on Storm Junior Live tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central Time. And please, Ballard versus the Big C, check us out. Any donation will help. So we're there to help others. Thank you again. I wish you all a safe and healthy week, and we will see you next Tuesday.